Wait,
Yeah, we're good.
We're good?
I think we're good.
All right.
Hello.
Good morning.
Happy Friday morning.
Happy Freedom Friday. It's Veterans Day. Yeah.
We are here to start off. We're going to give away our giveaway, our immune boosting giveaway. We have elderberries.
Oh, there it is.
Turn that off. We've got the elderberries, we've got the honey, we've got the apple cider vinegar, and the fire cider book.
Awesome.
So,
That shakes really bad.
yeah, it does. I'm sorry. So, for the giveaway, what we do is everybody comments on the different videos. This time it was supposed to be 4 videos. And our What We Eat videos ended up being
A lot.
4 videos that were long. We kind of planned those and didn't really know what to expect. And so we ended up with 6 videos for the giveaway. I don't think we're going to let that drag out that long again in the future. So what I did was I picked a video using a random number generator, and then I picked a winner. And our winner is Paula Wallace. You are the winner of the immune boosting giveaway. So if you watch this video, you can comment on here. Otherwise, I will go
Into the comments.
comment on your comment and
Yep.
ask you how to get this to you. So we also have a winner number 2 on the community post. We picked just a random number, found that comment, and Hannah Moore is our winner for the, oh, I forgot. The giveaway. So Paula Wallace, you also receive, we're going to also send you a hard copy of the recipe pack. And Hannah Moore, I'll get in touch with you as well, and we're going to send you a recipe pack.
Congrats to both of you. And thank you for supporting the channel and the cause and all of that.
I love hearing from everybody. We do our best to come up with questions that I have a good question to ask.
Well, don't ask it now.
Well, no, I can tell them so they can start thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
I think one of our next questions that we're going to ask is, what is a good question to ask for the giveaway? Because here's our goal. We try to come up with questions that are going to be valuable to you.
To you, yeah.
Like
so when
to
you're
the
reading
viewers.
through the comments and you guys get information and ideas as well. So
Yeah.
I like it.
So I
what
think
do
we'll
you want us to
ask everybody else?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So now we have, do you want to go through and
We just have a few people that said good
Say
morning. So good morning, Mary Jane. Hello, Granny Rants from West Virginia. Nice. Kathy. Woohoo! You're feeling it. Yay, Paula. Marijique, hello. She says hi to your Comstock family. What perfect timing. And she says congrats Hannah, congrats Paula from those few ladies.
All right.
So
Thank you everyone who is on here live with us.
Here in Colorado, we got about a dusting of snow last night. It is 25 degrees, freezing fog.
And it was 45 degrees in our bedroom this morning. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was cold. So, let's just jump right in. We have questions, and do you want to do an update as to where we're at and what's going on, or no? You just want to go over the questions?
I think we can jump into the questions and
Okay.
I don't know what you want to share.
Oh, nothing really. I'm just here to answer questions.
Update where we're at, what's going on. Is there anything in particular?
We're really excited about the recipe pack. Really, Christy's done a good job supporting my development of that, and I am grateful for the support that she gives. So,
You did such a great job, babe.
yes, totally kidding. She's put in a lot of work on the recipe pack, and we're not like professional chefs or cooks or anything.
But we're picky about good food.
But there's a few things that we want to make sure is done well, but we're also not like professional production people. So if the videos are really bad, sorry, but we're trying to make them shorter. It's just sometimes hard when there's so much to go over. So.
Well, I'm afraid that if we do make them shorter, it's going to be a matter of losing, like it's going to be cutting stuff out, and it's just going to be making it more short and basic or less recipes. So
yeah. So Granny Rant says she downloaded the recipe pack. Awesome ideas and very useful info.
Yay!
Awesome. And somebody says good morning from Virginia, VA. I'm assuming that's VA.
I think
Virginia.
Yeah.
I don't know my state abbreviations, but good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so let's jump into some of these questions because we've got quite a few of them.
Rock and roll.
So I'm pretty sure, yep, that's our first one.
All right.
Calvi Homestead asked, will you be doing meal lists for every month, or do we just make the same-ish meals every month? I'm going to answer the second question first and say, if we eat the same meals for too long,
It's my fault.
I will never, I need to go years
Yeah, a
without
while.
eating them again.
Yeah, I can name a few recipes.
And so, and there's some that we're finally bringing back into the circulation that it has been 3-4 years since we've had them, and there's so let's just talk about the recipe pack in general. First off, the recipe packs were something that I've always wanted to do, but I didn't feel like I had enough time to do what I wanted to do. You're gonna be crinkling the pages. And so we got so many requests for recipe something, and I said to myself, what if I just do what I'm capable of doing, what I can do, and call it good? Because
Otherwise,
I think it was on another one of the lives where I proclaimed that if I ever did a cookbook, I said a cookbook, that it will have pictures, because pictures are so important. And one of the things when we were talking about this, I'm like, if we do this, I can't do pictures.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called a recipe pack, and it's not a cookbook, because my cookbook will have pictures. There's actually a lot of missing elements in here. One of the things, and I'll probably, on the community page in the near future, I'll probably do a vote or a poll to see who wants what feature the most, because there's certain things I wanted to include. We have freezer meals, and we have canning projects that we have in here, and I wanted to include labels. So labels for the freezer meals and labels for the tops of the canning lids.
Yeah.
But that's something that I just didn't get into this one. I think that's going to be in the November pack. Actually have them almost ready. So to answer, I guess, the first question is, yes, we do plan on continuing to do the recipe packs. Another thing that I wanted to do is include recipe cards that you can print out in a 3x5 card and have them, especially for the things like the seasoning mixes and the salad dressings and the condiments and the ferments and all of that, because
something
that's
you could keep in
stuff
your cabinet
that we keep I've started a number of them, and we keep them on a little command hook inside of our spice cabinet. There's a bird. There's a woodpecker on our deck over there. He's big and fluffy. And it makes it so easy. And one of the things that I have learned, and I've been preaching often, is that if something's not easy, it won't get done.
Yeah.
And so our goal is to help you make things easy. And whether it's something new or whether it's something that you know how to do, but it seems too daunting because a lot of people live really busy lives and it's hard to add in things like cooking from scratch. And so our goal is just to help you make that easy.
Yeah.
So there's a few other things. Like I said, I'll probably do a poll, but I want to say that these are not to the extent which I want them to be. And we'll probably add in a little bit here and there each month to make them better. If anybody has any feedback on the recipe packs, I would love to hear it. I love constructive criticism. If you have an idea that you think can make this better, please let me know.
Yeah. And don't recommend pictures.
Because that one's not coming yet. That'll probably be like next year's revamp version is we'll do pictures. Because I want the pictures to be good. I don't want them to be like a screenshot from the video.
But also, just so any of you watching, if you do buy the recipe pack, you are grandfathered into any sort of updates that do get generated.
Yes.
So if
for that month. Yes. So one thing that I did do that I'm really excited about. So here, at the end of each of these, there is an index. It's probably backwards. Is it backwards? No.
I can't tell. It's still buffering.
Anyway, there's an index, and what I am going to start doing, probably at the end of December, is I'm going to start doing an index that's cumulative for all of the recipe packs.
Ooh.
So that, because one of the things that I don't like about it is that everything's not in one place, and I like things to be in one place. But my plan is to put out indexes, like an index, so that you can look up a recipe and find out which
book, which month, all that.
And then I also want to put together some, like a page on the website that links, that tells you what video shows the recipe pack. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that if you're looking in the recipe book, then you can say, oh, I wish I could watch a video on this.
Yeah.
You can go on the website and it'll reference which video it's on. So you've got some comments on there. You want to?
Yeah. Marajik says she loves the last few videos. Such a nice vibe. Lots of inspiration. Awesome. Mary Jane says, I love the videos as they are. I also mill my own flour. Cool. And would like to see more videos from our daughter and see where she can go with experiments with new recipes and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that might be coming. Granny Rant says, I printed the pack and put it in a 3-ring binder. Awesome. Minnie says, good morning.
Good morning.
That was not awkward. Mary Jane also says, it was not backwards. Cool. That's good to know that I'm where I am and you're where you are.
Awesome.
Cheryl says, the real question that begs to be answered is how is it so quiet in your house? We only have 4 kids and it's always loud. Well, clearly, Cheryl, you have not seen all of our videos because you would realize that our house is not quiet. However, because the kids earned some privileged tech time, they're in the basement playing Wii, I think.
Harbor's over here. What is Harbor doing?
Drawing on my Chromebook.
Harbor's drawing. And so usually they're kind of around doing stuff, but during the live, we try to keep it relatively uninterrupted as possible.
And I think that they have probably played, it's not, technically it's a Nintendo Switch, but I think that they have probably played that twice in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And so it's very,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
And it keeps them occupied for an hour or so. But I promise them the next time that it snowed that they get to play Nintendo. So they did their chores this morning and now they're playing. And then Red Lantern Kathy says, website is stuck on the contact us page on my end.
So I have not technically officially shared the website. Are you looking at the A Family Food Supply website? Because there's a Rooted and Fruitful website, and that one is I think, blocked. Like it's just, there's just a landing page. And the afamilyfoodsupply.com website, I still have a little bit more work to do
My
on it.
web designer got pregnant. I don't know what happened to her.
And so I have not officially, yeah, she was on the Rooted and Fruitful. Okay. So yes, you can go to afamilyfoodsupply.com. There's some blog posts that are up there. But there's still, again, it's one of those things that's like, there's so much that I want to do for it.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Mindy says, I'm grinding my own flour. Cooking from scratch is something that I'm learning to do myself, along with canning, preserving food that are in season. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I pushed back a lot when Christy kept saying, I want the pressure canner. I was like, and then
it took me 10 years.
A couple years later, it'd come back up and I'd be like, and then a couple years ago, she was like, I'm gonna get the pressure canner. And I was like, okay. And then last year, she's like, I'm getting the pressure canner. And I said, all right.
Well, because the pressure canner in the last 10 years has like tripled in price.
Yeah.
And last year, probably like October, November time frame,
yeah.
I had been stalking the prices of it, and I finally found it for a reasonable deal and got it. That's why I was like, I'm getting this now.
Pull the trigger. All right, so okay, you said she's on the Rooted page. So okay, feedback on the recipe packs. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Just do whatever will make it able for you to continue. I love it. That's the best.
Well, I always like to improve. I always like to work towards making something better. And so I'm just going to try. I'm not going to try. I won't let my desire for improvement hold me back to the point where it stalls the process. I'm somewhat concerned. I did all of the October from like beginning to end in the month of October. And I told you, I'm like, never again, because now I'm at the point where like November's is almost done and I'm working on December's, and that's really how I need to do it. And I need to get a couple months ahead so that when this baby comes,
you can take a month
we can
off
actually still have it for the month.
Yeah.
So.
And if it doesn't work out, I'll do the recipe pack.
Okay, let's talk really quick about the pricing. So for those of you who have gotten the recipe pack, you will have noticed that it is a pay what you want pricing. Number one, we're here to serve you. We're here to help you, to encourage you, to inspire you, and to hopefully help you move forward with your cooking from scratch goals. And that's something where I don't ever want someone's budget to get in the way of them being able to access a resource. So that's one of the whys behind the pay what you want. The second one is that we want to trust God with our finances and what is provided to us. And when you enter into this online business world, it's so easy. Like a lot of people get caught up on the, set your price and raise your price and make it higher and set these outrageous financial goals, and just, I don't think it serves us as a creator. I don't think it serves our people. And so it's something that we kind of decided.
Yeah, well, it also, I think there becomes a sense of idolatry that comes along with this model, because it's very easy to get caught up in that.
So now with that, there's also a lot of psychological stuff that happens from the buyer. And so what I think we are going to do is for October and November, it's going to be a little bit different because they're not coming out at the beginning of the month. I don't even know if December is going to be ready at the beginning
December 1, right.
of the month, and so there's going to be a little bit of a lag here. But eventually, what my goal is to have the recipe pack available at the beginning of the month, even if not earlier. And for the month that it opens and it's available, it will be on that pay what you want pricing. And then after that, it'll probably be listed at $14.95. And the reason for that is because if someone comes in,
Nope, around. No, all right, go that way.
if someone comes to our channel and let's just say that we have 6 recipe packs that have been put together. Do you guys need something?
Yeah, we need something. Grace,
We just got flooded with children.
I'm hungry.
They got 30 minutes in the live. She's
Hungry.
sitting there for 2 minutes not
Because
doing
they
anything.
wouldn't let us.
Okay, shut it down and do something else.
Wait,
Asher
Kristen,
and I have not gotten our time.
we did not do
You
anything.
should go
wrong.
outside.
No, I do not have anything in it. I've been outside.
All right, I'm gonna count to 5.
Alright,
You all need to
tell Wyatt
disperse.
to go to the remote.
Wait.
He has the home button, you can turn it off and he'll be
Wait, can you
Give them the
please-
remote now.
Wait, Dad. Look down the corner.
Yes.
Thank you, Elias.
What's up?
I want some milk.
And
Go to the kitchen, get
Elias
some milk.
is cheating, Elias.
Barbara, will you help Zayden get some milk? Thank you.
I want a smoothie.
No, you already had
I
some.
just devoured my smoothie.
No, you can have some milk.
Sorry about that.
Actually, can I have some the pepper slice of cheeses?
Yes, you can have a couple slices of cheeses.
Okay, so someone comes to our channel and they think, oh, I want to grab all these recipe packs, and they're pay what you want, and it makes it too easy to obtain all of them. What I have learned is that if you get your hands on that much
Barbara, please get her
information,
some cheese.
Kristen, come on.
it does nothing.
Mom, I have a slice of cheese anyway.
Yes, no more interrupting.
You guys, come
Go.
on.
There's not some in the freezer.
No.
Freezer.
Kristen, come here.
Freezer.
I am concerned that it builds overwhelm,
Yeah.
and
Because it's really, yeah, like she said, I just want to chime in. I was trying to pay attention, but that sense of I can do it happens really easy before you start actually calculating the cost, because some of these meals take some time to make, and like what Gracie said, we want to make it easy for people to do things, and yeah.
And one of the things we don't want to help build the overwhelm that our society loves to push on people. And if you read this letter that we have at the beginning of the recipe pack, we talk about that. We say, if you haven't been cooking from scratch and this is something that's new to you, pick one thing out of here. Like, and that's something where I really kind of struggled to determine, I want to offer exceptional value, but I also don't want to give too much to the point where it makes people feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And so my hope is that it's not. But like if you have never canned before, if you've never dehydrated anything before, if you've never done ferments, you cannot go into this and say, I'm going to do the ferment recipe, I'm going to do the canning recipe, I'm going to do this, because you won't end up succeeding at any of it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, rant over.
yes. Okay, do you want to do that? And then we'll move on to question number 2.
Yeah. Okay. Feedback in the recipe packs I got. So Mindy says I got mine in 2021. Also, I have canned so much that made cooking so different. I think it's more healthy, but adapting my recipes is different. Cool. Family is a beautiful gift from God. He has blessed you so much, beautiful children.
Thank you, Mindy. Look,
I-
the quiet
went away. Yes, yeah. Good job. Somebody had to say something. I appreciate your pricing. I promise I'll pay as much as you can. Awesome. Thank you. Congratulations to the winners. I had to pause because I'm so far behind. Quiet. LOL. Yeah, I'm looking for just a cookbook. Although, yeah, I'm not looking for a cookbook. although it would be great, but the pack and the videos are lessons. Awesome. And then your kiddos are adorable. Miss having littles so much. Gah. Yes. It took me a long time to really enjoy having all the little kids. And
It didn't take me long at all.
yeah.
It didn't take me any time at all.
So yeah, I'm enjoying being a dad and a husband.
Okay, let's go on to question number 2. Granny Rants asked, what does a local grocery haul look like? Because she knows that most of our stuff comes from Azure, but knows that there must be some fill-ins. So, actually,
You ready?
our next grocery haul is not just an Azure haul. It's coming out.
It's coming from the back
It's
of the
coming
van.
out on Tuesday. No, it's coming out on Tuesday where we do. It's probably gonna be a really long because you haven't finished editing it.
Yeah.
Editing it yet. We had to bring in four
4 tables.
additional tables into our dining room
So
to
we
lay
had,
everything out.
so we have this table that we're sitting at right now, and then we had a table behind this table, a table to the side, and the table to the side. And
We did our Costco, our Azure, and our natural grocers all in one. Now we also we get a whole beef
we buy some of our
twice a year.
yeah. So we try to buy as much locally as we can, but
That's not true.
it's hard to. It
Right
is.
now we get our pork and our beef and our milk.
But we've mentioned before, it's hard to find a chicken supplier
Yeah.
to supply the needs that our family has, or an egg supplier. And we've tried growing as much as we can in the backyard. We've gone to some of the local farmer markets, but we've found that these farmers are just getting produce from other distributors and just boxing it up themselves. It's very rare that you actually find someone who grows everything and sells it at a farmer's market.
It's not rare. It's more occasional than the alternative. And it depends on what farmer's market you're talking about. The reason why I'm kind of like pushing back is because I've been playing in my mind that I think one of our goals for this next year should be getting to know more local farmers, because we used to know everybody that was local back when we were farming ourselves. And
We do have a local dairy guy that we get milk from.
yes, we do. But I think that our goal next year should really be to kind of focus in on, I want to be able to have those relationships with the farmers so that when they have an abundance of a certain type of produce and they don't know what to do with it, they know to call me and be like, I have this. Can you make use of it for a really good deal? And I will say, yes, absolutely. We'll pick it up tonight. Stop playing with the table.
Sorry.
So that's that. Now we do try and stay within that like monthly grocery shopping. We do usually do 1 to 3 additional grocery orders from natural grocers for lettuce mainly.
Yeah, some of the veggies things.
But for a while there, we were doing weekly, like I was getting berries weekly from Costco.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that just went out the window with the inflation. I mean, with the inflation, our grocery budget just had to go up, but there's also some like it came down from a few things.
Yeah.
So that's now, and also we do have another location that we buy a lot of the dry goods from. It's called Golden Organics. They're here in Colorado, and we're gonna probably do a video. We were just up there yesterday, and it's a small. I mean, we didn't get a ton of stuff, but
It's neat stuff.
it is. It's
And-
some smaller stuff.
It's stuff that you could just substitute getting at Costco, but
the reason why I want to do a video specifically on that is because I think that a lot of people are missing out on some of the local resources that they have. And the only way that you're going to know is if you look. And having multiple resources, like that's one of my biggest, when it comes to Azure, there's often things out of stock. And there's two things that we do to kind of work to deal with that.
To combat that.
And number one is to just always have a few months of whatever we buy from them on hand, at least. Ideally a year, but like we don't have a year worth of cheese. We have probably like 3 months worth of cheese. And to keep that stocked as opposed to letting it get depleted so that if they're out for 2 months, we're okay. Number two is to have alternatives on where you can get stuff. Now, I don't have an alternative source for raw cheese. I'm sure there's something out there outside of making it ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, but like Golden ends up being cheaper than Azure randomly. Like I had to go through, I do have to check everything because there's some things that are like outrageously different in price.
Yeah.
Like the Celion cinnamon
Oh man.
is a third of the price
Yeah.
at Golden. So that's, I'm sorry, but I probably will not be buying. Same with nutmeg. Nutmeg is way cheaper at Golden as well.
Yeah. And I like the nutmeg from
Golden.
Golden. That's good. Yeah.
And they give you like on their price list, they give you where everything comes from. Like, is it produced, if it's in the States, they give you the state where it comes from. And if it's not domestic, they give you the
country it's from.
the country that it's from. So that's always helpful.
Neat too. Find out where things are coming from.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Let's bang out some questions.
Yes. Okay.
Hold on. Go back up. Just. Okay. Yep. We're there. All right.
This is a typo.
Okay. Yeah. Catherine. Plenty.
I think it's Fenning. I think the P is silent.
Okay.
I don't know. If Catherine's with us, let us know how to say your last name. I think it's Fenning.
Okay. She asked, "What is our family's favorite fall meal to make?" And we did not have a conversation about this beforehand. Genuinely.
I thought about it.
So she's gonna say her favorite fall meal,
Not at the same time.
and I'm gonna say my favorite fall meal. Not at the same time. But I'll go first because I'm like that. So I will say.
But I'm going to tell you my favorite one to eat. She said to make. And I think my favorite to make would be different than my favorite to eat.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I will just assume make is eating. So, yeah. All right. I will say the Cajun meatloaf
Yeah?
with sweet potatoes and a salad.
I don't even have that planned
Oh,
in a recipe pack. So that's not even a fall meal. That's going to be a winter meal.
Well, I can eat
I
it
was
in the
going to
fall.
put that in January or February. You got to pick another one.
Okay. Cheeseburger salad.
That's kind of like all year round. Traditional cheeseburger salad?
Yeah, just regular cheeseburger. Okay, so I'll say the cottage pie. That's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Mine, okay, so I've got two. So one of my favorites to eat is the Hungarian kebabs.
Yeah,
I
that's a good one.
love the Hungarian kebabs. That one I think is in.
It's in that one.
So here's a sneak peek. This is the November recipe pack.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure
What's our favorite?
that it's in here.
There's a reason why
It
there's-
is.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Hungarian kebabs.
And we are filming that one tomorrow.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, I just wrote up the plans for that.
So yeah,
But wait.
I'll go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that my favorite to make is going to be the beef stew, because I love the fact, like we just filmed making the beef stew and canning it, and I love being able to make a meal and then make more and can it. I just think that is
Yeah.
wonderful.
That's neat. Can't really can meatloaf.
No, I don't.
You
think
freeze
so.
it.
Maybe you could. I have no idea. Yeah,
All
we do freeze it.
So
You were gonna say something else.
Hey, that
those waffle sandwiches.
Baby bell.
You want a baby bell?
Come on, just.
Can you just get her like a slice of
Slice of
cheese?
cheese.
There's none that's open.
Well, we're gonna open it
Baby, come
eventually.
on.
It's okay. It's there for a reason.
I want
Um,
two.
Come
Two
on.
sides.
We'll see.
Roslyn.
Come
Okay.
on.
The waffle sandwiches. Oh man,
Those are really good.
Those are so good.
Yeah.
So all right, Kay Valzez said, "Do we like being Azure drop coordinators?" Simple answer, yes.
I'll give you a little bit more to that. There have been seasons where we talked about not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
There have been seasons where we could not stand being drop coordinators. There's a combination of when you're put in the middle, and it's you have the customer and you have Azure, and when Azure has an inconsistent delivery time
schedule.
and like when it changes, things like that happen. When you have new customers that don't really know how things work, and customers get mad and they take it out on you, or you have
Just like,
customers that
"I'm
are just
sorry."
difficult.
Yeah.
They don't want to, like, we run our drop very different
Yeah.
from I don't even know I don't know if there's
anybody.
I think there's been one person that said somebody runs their drop like ours.
Yeah. So we meet the truck, we bring everything back to our house, we sort it, and people pick a time that's convenient for them to come and pick up their stuff.
We also have an open pickup
Yep.
where people can come and they can chat and mingle and talk to other people, talk to us. We try and do samples during that time frame so that there's a community aspect, but there's not the, like, when we first started with Azure 10 years ago, I saw the way that the drop worked, and I just could not handle the inefficiency that was taking place there. And so we look at it as an opportunity for our family to serve our community. And it is more of like, it is our community service for the month that we do as a family. And once we kind of committed to that and wrapped our head around it, I think that it really, I don't know, it got better. And honestly, Azure's been great. I think even for, like, I would say the last year.
Yeah,
they've
been
been really
good.
consistent. Their stock issues have been less.
Yeah.
And so I think that they've made it easier to be a drop coordinator because there's been less issues.
Yeah.
So if anybody is interested in becoming a drop coordinator, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I will say is that I'll go on, there's like a drop coordinator Facebook group, and I'll go on and just some of the conversations that people have about drops getting so large. Ours is almost at the point where it's too big for us to handle. It actually is about there, but it's kind of like scaled back a little bit, which has been great for us. But I think that the only thing that I can like attribute this to is if, like, when you look at small groups, if you look at the way that churches do small groups, and if you go through any of the, I think it's more in the training of being a small group leader, they have this, like, you have a small group, and then when it reaches a point where it gets too big, you birth a group out of that, and then you split and you divide. And so I'm thinking that when it comes time where our group is too large, I would love to model that after the small group, where we birth another group or another drop that is just like ours, where it's the same thing. Now, I don't know if anybody else is willing to do that. I hope that somebody in our group is.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's
long.
that's the long answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sister Alicia said she canned some chicken, and when she opened it, it didn't smell or anything, but there was mold on the lid. Any idea what happened? So I asked a few questions. I checked not right before, but I checked a few hours before, and I had not seen any answers on some of the details around that. My first question is, did you have the rings on the lid? Because I know that the seal can break if you have a ring on, the seal of the jar can break and then kind of go back on because the ring is on there.
Huh.
And that so then it lets the air in, it lets the oxygen in, at which point mold can form, and then it looks like it's sealed. But she did mention that it didn't smell, and so I don't know. I would then ask, is it really mold? Is it fuzzy? Because I know that there can be some stuff that happens on the bottom of the lid if, like, due to just chemical reactions and such. So the other thing was, I'm not even sure if the other thing that can happen is if you don't clean your jars really well afterwards, they're like mold can grow on the outside of the jar, and as long as
it's not percolating, like penetrating.
So I guess that I'm not exactly sure, but those are kind of some questions that I have to really be able to answer.
Kathy says, sounds like pinholing common with canning chicken. So I'm not familiar with pinholing.
I know that Kathy knows more than me when it comes to canning. So
thanks, Kathy, for supporting the question. Appreciate
yes,
that.
yes.
She also says the airdrop coordinator doesn't even speak with us. We unload, we check the manifest. He's there, but he doesn't participate. Yes, that's challenging. And then Your Flow says, I've tried contacting my drop leader multiple times, and she has never responded. LOL, but the truck driver is absolutely amazing, and I consider him our drop leader for us, I guess. We've had a couple of really awesome drivers, and
the one thing I do miss having the same driver, because I think of an Azure truck driver, and I think of Casey. Casey was our driver
for years,
for so many years, and it was great to know him. And but I also know that he didn't live by Azure. He was more.
I think he lived in Nevada.
So it was
something like that.
I don't know exactly how that worked, but.
Yeah, and then Rebecca says our drop is nice and small. The downside being that every once in a while it doesn't meet the minimum. Yeah, that can be changed. That's hard too. All right, moving on.
Yes. So Karen Metzen Wallace was asking about living at sea level, or living at 95 feet above sea level, and wanted to know if she needed to do any adjusting for the baking recipes. And I've kind of gone back and forth with her. And I mentioned that the biggest issue when you are dealing with altitude are things like cakes and cookies.
Yeah.
And with the cake, we haven't done any cakes, but with the cookies, we do include, in the recipe pack, that is the normal amount that you would use. It includes the normal amount of baking soda or baking powder or flour or any of the things that you would change from the altitude.
Yeah.
We do our experimenting, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. We honestly, the first time it was an accident, and it was with the pumpkin spice cookies. Yeah. And Harbor forgot to put baking powder, soda. She forgot to put baking soda in, and I was like, "This is so good! I love it."
We've also learned that baking is the Greek root word for baking is mystery. So that's not actually true, but it works.
So there should not be any adjustment necessary. And for example, with the chocolate chip cookies, we mentioned in the video that we take the recipe that's in the recipe pack, and we do sometimes half the baking soda. No, powder. Soda.
One of those.
Yeah. So
cool.
Yeah, so you should be good with the recipes that are in there. So Darla Mankey asked, do you make all of your bread items from freshly milled flour? Yes. This is something that
wasn't always that way.
No, it wasn't. And everybody fought me on this for a while. I decided that I'm done. I'm done with all-purpose flour. And it was probably Was it?
It's on his birthday last Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 months
Well,
ago.
we've been
But it's been coming for a while.
It's been coming for the last few years because I cringed every time I bought a bag of AP flour.
It's funny though. I'm gonna chime in. There's a few things Christy's just like, I'm done, and she stops buying it. And when you stop buying something, it goes away.
Things like
Ziploc bags, flour, paper towel. Soon, I bet you it's gonna be clothing.
So we have to make it, not go naked.
Head only videos. That's gonna be a challenge edit. Okay.
Oh.
So, yep.
But so listen, the thing that kind of frustrates me is that there's not a lot of people out there that only bake with whole grains. And it can be hard because especially when all of the recipes out there, they're like, they call it a whole grain recipe, but it has like 50% all-purpose flour.
Yeah.
Like that does not count. That is not whole grain bread. And so I'm going to stop talking because there's some other questions that kind of get into where I want to go with this conversation. Andrea K said she recently purchased a grain mill and has been stocking up on wheat berries from Azure. Do we grind our own wheat? And what is our favorite bread recipe? So again, yes, strictly. And our favorite, do you have a favorite?
I don't. There's so many different types. I'm really interested in rye. I've just been looking at like this really rustic, dark loaf of bread, egg, bacon, something. That sounds delicious.
We
to
haven't
me.
really done a lot of experience.
No.
Like I got the rye because I honestly I wanted to make like the traditional kvass
Yeah.
with the rye. Don't pull that out yet. That's
I'm-
a bit for the end of the video.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got a little bit excited. She's made a couple spelt rolls. I know it's not bread, but it's kind of in the same family. Those are just they're trouble. But the just the basic bread she made when we made tuna sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
If you've not seen that video, like I take the knife and I like tap the bread, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's so good. And then the leftover bread, she made into croutons the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Those were trouble.
Yep.
Yeah. All honestly.
So wait, before I need to share my favorite.
Oh, you have.
I have two. I have two.
You have a favorite?
I have two.
The waffles don't count.
And the two that I have that are favorite they're both in the November recipe pack. Number one is the garlic bread.
Oh, shocking.
Because it's just like it's a French bread
It's probably just the butter that you like.
We've also got a whole grain sourdough that we put the
that
garlic
was so
bread
good.
spread on, and so it probably it's definitely the garlic bread spread that I am in love with.
You could probably put that on anything.
You could, and I would be happy. Number two that I am probably the most excited about, if you like get rid of the garlic bread spread, I really like the hearty,
the seedy one.
the hearty sandwich bread that we're experimenting with,
Yeah.
like that.
It's
Even
chunky.
the one that we had for our experimental. Look what's
You ready?
coming
This is
out of the oven.
This is what happens when you get a live video.
Oh, if they can only have live smells.
So what is this?
This is
Sourdough,
the
whole
whole
grain.
grain sourdough.
Yeah, I know. Well, give me the hot thing. Like, look at that. What grain did you use for that?
Soft white wheat. Or no, hard white.
Hard white.
Hard white wheat for that. Hang on, stop crinkling. Yeah. Ooh.
It smells so good.
Mm-hmm.
Can we make some garlic bread spread too?
So
Leftovers are amazing when they come with fresh bread.
yeah. Okay, so I don't want to sound like we're too good for milled, previously processed flour. It's just been a choice.
Well,
That
but
we've
it's
made.
frustrating because it is more difficult, and it's I can't tell you how many people at our Azure drop that I've talked to that say, you know, I tried baking with whole grains and my family doesn't like it. It's just, it doesn't work out. And people just immediately jump to this, you know, it's too
hard.
dense. It doesn't work the same way as AP flour does. And I had to dig my heels in and be like, no, we are going to figure this out.
And I have to lift Harbor up a little bit on this because she's the one that's really putting in the labor. And I was editing a video, and she had recorded the entire process of making these rolls, and I had never actually sat down and watched the entire process, but she has really owned that.
Yes, she has.
And I have to just applaud her tenacity and resolve in figuring it out. And she's really generated a passion for it, and serves the family selflessly. And I think that it's kind of selfish for her too, because she has so much fun doing it. So it's like, she's like, oh darn, I have to make bread. And I'm like, oh darn, I have to eat the bread. And we took some rolls the other day, we cut them in half and made French toast out of it. It was like eating a donut. It was amazing. So a huge worldwide to all like 5 of you. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is.
So
which leads us to Mickey, who asked, she says she's impressed with Harbor's bread making skills and wants to know how she learned. What are her favorite books or YouTube channels that she learned from? And I'm gonna start by saying that she learned how to make sourdough.
Yep.
From Lisa over at Farmhouse on Boone. But then that kind of brought on some frustration.
Yep.
Because of the amount of AP flour
substitute
that is used in everything. So we then went to Bread Becker's. We love Bread Becker's. But Bread Becker's is more, it's all freshly ground, which I love and appreciate. But I don't think there's anything sourdough.
Okay.
And so there's been some other resources on YouTube that have been recommended that are all whole wheat, and she's tried the recipes and they haven't worked out. And so it's just been a lot of Harbor, do you want to come over here for a second? And do you want to come over here and talk about I think Farmhouse on Boone was great for you to learn the process.
Mm-hmm.
We also, Gnaufglins is another.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
The sourdough, and that's how I learned. I started watching Wardy 10 years ago. And that's how I learned to make bread. And that's how I learned about a lot of the stuff. And so that's kind of where my experience came from. And just us making the decision to go not do AP flour. You can come over here so that you're not
hidden
off. Yeah, and you gotta duck down a little bit.
I do have to duck down.
I don't know. Do you have anything that you want to share about? I think the biggest thing is just being willing to do it and experiment and mess up.
Yeah.
Because that's something that we've talked about a number of times where it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
When we were trying to find a French bread recipe,
Oh my
she
goodness.
does was it the second loaf? The second loaf of French bread, you came to me and you're like, I can't do this. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
No, it was the third loaf.
no, I think it was the second loaf. Anyway, the French bread was a tricky one. And it was probably the third loaf, but it was the second loaf that we were actually really trying to get something.
Yeah.
And so we do a lot of collaborating and just looking through recipe after recipe after recipe after recipe. Honestly, I think we found some of our best resources by looking just finding websites that actually just have the written recipe,
Mhm.
because we haven't had a lot of success with the ones that are on YouTube, have we?
No, not really.
I mean, I was really excited when we found that one. I don't remember what it was, but you made the loaf and you were like, this isn't going to be good.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't.
There was one roll. I can't remember what happened. What the mistake was. Oh, you forgot to put yeast in it.
Yeah.
There was one batch. She forgot to put yeast in it,
It was
and
one of the
she was
birthdays.
like, she's like, this isn't gonna be good. We're like, okay, sure. Dana, I think that's how you say that, says she's got to catch the rest of us later. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time
Yeah.
if you're still here. But she was like, this ain't gonna be good, and I'm like, okay. And
Yeah, that wasn't good.
a
Just
couple
without
other
yeast.
people were like, this is the most. They were like, oh.
Papa,
So,
who can't taste, was like, even I can tell this is bad.
cool. So I'm really curious who's gonna be the next bread making protege.
So
Protege?
Lyndon was like, when we were a little while back, Lyndon picked sourdough as his something to learn. And we went through, it just happened to line up with the sourdough challenge from Gnaufkins is actually traditional cooking school. And he and I went through and did the whole challenge and made everything. That was fun to fit in teaching and learning and cooking something sourdough every day with him. So he might, and he always wants to make that, whatever that bread is.
3
that he
ingredients
likes.
bread. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
flour, water, and salt or something. Sugar. I don't know.
No, it's flour. It's flour, salt, and water. Yeah. I don't know. So I just told Harvey she's not allowed to leave. All right. What's the next question?
All right. So we've got.
What, you want me to cut into it?
Yeah. I want to see the.
They need to see the inside. They need to see the garlic spread.
Alright, give me a second. I need to convince the girl to do that.
The way this is going, she'll make that. Yeah.
Okay. My goal to not go through so much butter, and I'm totally ruining that.
Okay. Well, we have a few comments here.
Okay.
So, pinholing. All right. Says our job today is small. All right. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Mary Jane says I have the King Arthur whole grain baking book. It focuses on their milled flours, but I'm working on experimenting with the recipes to use my own milled flour. I write in all of my books. Awesome. Rosalinda says you can try sifting the fresh milled flour so it's more like all-purpose flour, but isn't removing too much of the fibers. Nancy B says, have you noticed a change in color at different times in your olive oil? Yes. I just got my 3rd gallon and it's more yellow and also doesn't solidify when cold. Have you seen one like this before from Azure?
We just noticed that in our last few orders, actually.
I wasn't quite. I'm not questioning Azure's authenticity in their product, but there is a possibility that it might. Like I had the thought, and this is just my total opinion, that it could be avocado oil as an accidental mislabel.
Because the avocado oil started looking like olive oil,
yeah.
and the olive oil started looking like avocado oil.
And I noticed that avocado oil does not solidify when it's cooler. It gets thicker, but it doesn't become like olive oil. That's my thought.
Now, I will say though, I was not paying close enough attention that there were 2 bottles in our last haul that when they came in, they were solid.
Yeah.
So
That was back in.
we might have to take a couple bottles and throw them in the fridge and see what happens.
Yeah. And then Vlogger Summer, hi everybody. Maple Hill Homestead says greetings. Hello. Nancy B says, have you played with sprouted whole wheat berries? I've struggled to make bread with them. There is a desire to do sprouted berries. The issue is then drying them.
I don't even have a desire.
I
know that they're it's
there.
Not.
She doesn't believe that it's there.
I have zero interest, which is strange. Maybe someday, maybe like when our kids are grown and gone, I will think about it when I'm only cooking for the two of us.
Yeah.
But the process of
That will never
sprouting and then dehydrating and making sure they're dry enough and then
Then
grinding them,
yeah.
I can't comprehend adding that
Yeah.
right now.
Okay. Heather Van Sant says, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And Dina says she got to go. Mary Jane says, if you sift the bran out, run it through the spice grinder, and then add it back in, your items will be more fluffy, especially for biscuits. Awesome. Great.
So we have been sifting, and one of these days we've got a Nutrimil Classic that's over a decade old, and eventually one of these days I would love to get either the Mock Mill or the Nutrimil Harvest, I think it is,
Yeah.
so that we can run that through a second time and get that finer grind
Yeah.
on it.
Well, you don't like gritty bread? What's wrong with you?
But I mean, if we were to try and take the flour and you run it through the spice mixer, it would take like 30 batches.
Yeah, that's a lot of flour. Okay, Jessica Aldezal says, what's the struggle when switching fresh to fresh ground wheat? Too dry, too dense? I'm about to try it out, wondering what to anticipate.
Number one, I say commit. Do it. Stop buying the all-purpose flour.
Burn the bridge.
Stop buying all flours and just deal with it. And honestly, I think one of the things that we really had going for us is that we had gone years without really having bread at all. And because I used to make it, and then I stopped making it when I got sick, and then we went on a number of like sugar-free,
grain-free, all that. Yeah, it's never any fun.
And so with that, our kids, they didn't go straight from store-bought bread right over to the fresh ground. And so it's like by the point in time that we started doing the fresh ground bread, they were just excited about anything that had wheat in it.
Yeah.
So if you're having a problem with your family, cut it all out for a little while and then bring it back.
You'd be amazed at what you will actually learn to like with the limited amount of...
Our kids love rice cakes.
Yeah.
I would not have eaten rice cakes when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now with all the other stuff that was available to
All
me.
right, so hope that helps, and just let us know. Keep
But
us
yes,
moving.
it is a dryness, it is a denseness. It's different. I mean, the bread is different, but there's also a skill set that you're gonna have to develop, and that you just have to commit to trying, commit to failing, and being okay to work through it.
It's kind of like eating no, I'm just kidding. So, what's up? Yes, give me just a minute. And then let's see here. Share Vin says, hi, got your notification, but read it live at Friday. So thought this was happening tomorrow. So glad I tuned in anyways. Welcome.
But wait, it is Friday,
Um,
right? It is Friday.
yeah, today's Friday. Okay. Says, Nancy B says, Azure already has sprouted whole wheat berries in bulk.
Yes, but
dried.
they are expensive.
Yeah. Please get back. Stop. You guys, nope. And then Mary Jane says, just the brand, not all the flour. It's a hot topic in the Fresh Milling Facebook group I'm in. Awesome. And then Nancy B says, thank you. So helpful. Rosalina just said, you should check out Better Basic Milling. She's out of Canada, but she's a wealth of information. Awesome. We'll take a look
I will
at
do that because I don't think we've ever heard of her.
On all things bread. Awesome. So,
Okay.
Chrissy's going to take over. I'll be right back. I'm going to go deal with children. Go that way. What? You coming in?
Okay. We also had a request for Harbor to make the yummy rolls from start to finish, including the milling process. And I do recognize that the videos that we've done on the cooking probably does not go into a lot of that detail. I think that we will probably do a video specifically on doing one batch of, we could probably do the rolls, maybe the spelt rolls.
I'm not explaining that to you right now. What are you
Hey babe,
No. Go.
can you, well, I was just gonna say you're being loud.
Oh, am I?
It's birthday?
Yes.
So I think we will do a, just a making rolls from scratch tutorial with really a lot more. And I told Kevin, I'm like, I'll choreograph it.
Yeah.
Make sure that we get all that information in there.
Awesome.
So, let's see here. Okay. Shannon asked, and this was a while back. This was in one of the first videos in the comments, and I told her that I wasn't going to go into it on here and that I was going to address it on the live. Speaking of which, thank you everyone for your patience for all of the comments that we have not responded to, because that is one of those things. I have like 15 minutes a day, and I sit down and I usually just go into my comments on YouTube and I start at the top, which is usually the most recent, and so I get through as many as I can, and then there's still a lot more, and I feel bad.
Yeah.
And I hate that I haven't responded. But anyway, she asked about our favorite essential oil, homeopathic, and herb books. So I have a selection here to share with you. So a lot of you will have seen recently we got this prescription for nutritional healing from Azure, and if you want, it's pretty hefty, pretty thick. It's an excellent resource that is kind of more all-inclusive, where it does talk about oils and herbs and homeopathics, and just other nutritional healing with foods and whatnot, and other things that you can do. So I think like if you have nothing, this would be a great place to start. Now, with that comes the caveat that if you don't have or have not been using herbs or homeopathics or essential oils, this might not be the best place to start, because you're going to feel like you're going to need all three of them. And I would recommend starting with one. The thing that I love about herbs is that you can grow them. When you're talking about essential oils and homeopathics, I don't know how to make my own essential oils. I'm sure that it's doable, but I think that the process is a little bit too complicated for my skill set at this point in time. So if you're going to start with one, I recommend herbs. So, and if you're going to just start with one, or like, let's say you've bought some oils, then go with oils. Or let's say you've bought some homeopathics. It doesn't really matter. Just pick one, commit to that for a little while, and then grow from there. Don't try and tackle everything at once. So the next one that I have, let's actually go with herbs, since I just said that that's the one that you should start with.
Keep the books in the right order, she says.
So
I can hold them, you can talk.
there are a lot of, hold on.
Big book.
There are a lot of herb books that we have, and there's a lot of them that we love for different reasons. And I believe that if you're starting from scratch, the best way to start is with a book that is more reference, so that it's really easy to look up and find something and just learn about it. And so this encyclopedia of herbal medicine,
Take it and turn it just like that there.
this is a great starting point, because you can look up every single herb that there is, and you can learn about the herbs specifically. Now, the other aspect that I really like is, here, I want to show you. So here, this is kind of inside of this book. I'm sorry, that's not a great image. Another one that we love is the Modern Herbal Dispensatory. This is probably like the most
My favorite.
it's Harbor's favorite. This one, you go to the back. You go to the back for the index to find out like what things work for. So there's that. For
Hold on a second. hold that book. Somebody said they want to screenshot the books. So there's that. And then
This one,
Ed, you need
Smile.
to move your fingers.
what?
You need to move your fingers.
No,
there,
that's fine.
it's fine. Okay, so then let's talk about
Here you go.
essential oils. This book right here is one of my favorites. If we're talking about the first book, because of the fact that if you look here, the first half is the ailments that you can look up, and then the second half is the oils themselves. And so it's just, again, really easy reference. If you're looking for something, you say, I have this ailment, or you say, I'm going to buy this herb. Let me know, like, I want to learn more about it. This book, not herb, sorry, oils. Can't keep them straight. The next is for homeopathy. I've got the Family Guide to Homeopathy. This, again, is great for specific problems, looking things up, and finding out what you should use. And again, a lot of what you'll realize is any of these natural remedies, they suggest a lot of different options. And when they suggest a lot of different options, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have all of those. It's more along the lines of there's a lot of different things that will help you with this, and use what you have on hand. Yep. And then lastly, this is one that we just got from Azure, and a lot of these did not come from Azure. The
Encyclopedia.
Well,
the prescription of natural healing did, and I think that's it. And then this one,
I will just say one thing.
What?
If you can't find these books online, you can try like bookstores or something. But
you can find them online.
But there may be a day when you can't. So buy them now.
But yes.
That's all I'm going to say.
So this I would not necessarily recommend as your first book, but if you're looking, like, as you start adding to your collection, I really thought that this was neat because it goes through the ailments, and it gives you a number of different, like, let me see, I just saw fevers. Here, head cold. So for head cold, it's got a number of different, I don't know if you can see any of that. This is probably more annoying than helpful.
Yeah. I will say one thing though. Christine and I were just working in the office doing some dusting and cleaning, and her sinuses started going crazy. And I said, why don't you go take some of that sinus calm and it's a homeopathic, and within like minutes she was fine.
Better, yeah.
And I've taken it before, and that's just, some of this stuff is legitimately amazing. So got a few comments. Jessica Aldez says, thanks, smiley face, your family's inspiring me. Awesome, glad to hear. Sheriff Vin says, loving your Hauls advice as your recipes. That maple syrup was amazing. Didn't know it was on sale last month. We'll try keeping sale price longer. Awesome, always learning. Malorina Buckley. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not reading that right, probably. I also have a large family. I would love to get back into making bread, especially GF, DF, EF, since one of my boys cannot eat wheat and several other boys cannot have dairy or eggs.
Gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free. Yes.
Yes, please do bread video. Whoa, I'm so glad I've brought olive oil from Azure. I'm allergic to avocado. When I consume it, it's a very, very bad day.
Okay, so wait, we don't know for sure if that is the case.
Yeah.
We don't know if it actually, like.
I just said that's my opinion. We would have to actually open the bottle and try it, like with like a tablespoon.
That was a very
standalone.
Yeah.
And then Sheriff Vin says, searched for nutritional heal book on Amazon. Apparently next year they are releasing an updated book with the in it. I'm thinking that's probably abbreviated or code for something. We'll figure that out in a minute. Found it used there for $11. Awesome.
Awesome.
That's a good buy for that price. Screen shooting your book. Yep, that's saw that. I have been having a lot of luck with tinctures. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy B, can you show the last 2 books one more time, please?
The last,
The last 2
two.
books. Ready?
Try not to get the glare.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Cool. What's next?
Okay. Keeper of the Memories asked, what is our process for meal planning? Especially as we eat mainly from scratch. And she's got more that I'll go into in just a minute. So for meal planning, in a perfect world, the way that my perfect meal planning goes is I put together at least 12 to 20 meals, like 12 to 20 dinners, 12 to 20 lunches, and maybe not that many
Probably
breakfasts. Breakfasts are a little bit less seasonal, and we do a lot of, like, we'll have at least 2 days a week that we have just regular oatmeal and or smoothies, and then like waffles or eggs, bacon, and hash browns or breakfast bowls are just kind of like regulars that we filter through every other week or so.
Yeah.
And so I have those, and then I go through and I will do a 4-week meal plan, 4 weeks, because we build our life around 4-week months.
If you haven't seen
Because
the 4-week video,
That is
check it
what
out.
our Azure schedule is. So that's something that we just kind of started doing. For the longest time, I wanted to fight it, and I hated the fact that it wasn't like a monthly schedule. And I grew to love it, and I love our 4-week months, and we get an extra one every year. And so I go through, I have my seasonal meals that I can go through, and I put them in for the month, and then we can grocery shop off of that. But then what I will do is I will each week go in and fill in the extras. So like when I do the monthly planning, I don't usually do the sides unless there's something that very specifically goes with a certain meal. So I'll go in and I'll fill in the sides, and I will make sure that what we are eating really makes sense with what our schedule is that week.
Yep.
And with what the weather is.
Yeah.
And that's stuff that sometimes things change. And so like in the month, I guess I look at, like, we have our week is laid out in a pretty solid routine where we only schedule doctor appointments on Wednesdays if we can, because he takes a half day on Wednesday, and then I know that every Wednesday afternoon is open. I know that Friday is house day, and he doesn't work in the field on Fridays, and so I know that I have that time, number one, to prioritize stuff around the house, but number two, to either like put more time into cooking because we're home, or put less time into cooking because we have a lot of projects going.
Yeah.
So like today we're doing leftovers.
And then tonight is
Cheeseburger salad.
a special
A very special one. So that's kind of what I do. And then we take I do use Plan to Eat, which I absolutely love, which I have not been sharing because I don't know why. I don't really have a reason for it, but
No.
I love using Plan to Eat. My goal is to eventually take all of our recipe packs and put the recipes into a special Plan to Eat account, so that when you get the recipe pack, you also get those recipes in Plan to Eat. I need to kind of work out some of the details there. I don't even know for sure it's possible, but that's what I would love to do, because if you use Plan to Eat, if it's done right, if it's set up right, it will make your grocery list for you, and you don't even have to think about it. You can also use it to track food inventory, not quite to the extent which we do like our long-term food storage or even anything. Honestly, I don't use it to track a lot of stuff, but I do use it to track freezer meals, which is kind of cool. It's got a feature in there where you can make a freezer meal, and I was thinking about doing it for canning as well. So that's what I was thinking about, using the pantry inventory to track what we have canned.
Yeah.
Because I thought that would be really helpful.
Sorry.
So, I think that's, the other thing that we do is we put up the meals for the week on our, we call it the This Week at board. And that way the kids all are able to look at the board and know what we're having to eat.
Yeah. None of this. What's for dinner? What's for breakfast? I just say it's on the board,
Yes.
which is sweet.
And I fell out of practice of doing that for a little while there.
That's okay.
And
Well, it's because I was doing the meals. And I didn't know it was for dinner at 4 o'clock sometimes.
So, Keeper of the Memories also asked, does husband work from home? It's awesome how involved he is in helping in the kitchen.
Oh.
I agree.
Thank you.
There was a long time where you didn't help in the kitchen as much. What did we figure out? I did about a decade of cooking, and you're on your way to doing about a decade of cooking, and then the kids will do a decade of cooking, and then I'll probably go back to cooking. Something like that.
I've learned that if anybody wants to eat, no. I've learned to enjoy cooking, and I get to play with knives while I'm cooking, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. Sometimes it's not. I don't know.
So when he's editing videos and such, he does work from home, and when he's doing certain things he does landscaping.
Mhm.
And he used to be the landscaping husband who was never home. And we learned, I would say really quickly, but it took us over 10 years to learn that it was not healthy for our marriage. It was not healthy for our family. It was not healthy for me.
Yeah.
And that was when I got sick.
Put it in context. I used to work 50, 80, sometimes.
You were plowing, when you would plow snow.
Sometimes I'd be gone for days and I wouldn't even come home. And then we realized that wasn't working, and I cut my schedule in half. And then
It wasn't exactly that. It was I got sick.
Yeah.
We lost everything, and we were homeless for a little while, and we really turned to God and said, what do we do? And out of that came a completely restored and renewed marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that came I think, restored and renewed relationship with you and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that came a lot of new, better systems. And we made a commitment that we would trust God and stop trying to do it all on our own.
Yeah.
Because that's what it came down to, is we were trying to make it all happen on our own. And I was making it like it was all your fault.
Yeah.
Well, it was all your fault, but
Yeah.
I was trying to put my trust in you, and I
Yeah.
wasn't putting my trust in God. And so you're not capable of, like, not just you, but like no human is capable of providing the security that we desire.
Yeah.
And so with that was where we very slowly, through lots of conversation and very prayerfully, through lots of searching, finally came to the point that you were going to cut your hours. And you first cut them down to like 35 hours.
Yeah.
And then we eventually moved it down. I think it was when Breslin was born and she had that tongue tie.
Yeah.
And he did all of the stretches for her because I could not bring myself to do it. And so I think that was what took you down to like the 24 hours.
Something like that. It's about 20 to 24 hours in the field doing field work, but I mean there's still a lot of behind the scene work that goes into it.
But you also learned, like, we learned how to be more efficient. I mean, I will say that you can do more in the field in the few hours that you're there than what a 2-man crew can do working 40 plus hours a week.
Sometimes. Depends what we're doing. So
A lot of the time.
we'll see.
So that's our story with, and I think somebody else asked, Mel asked, what do we do for a living? So landscaping.
Landscaping is the main income provider for our family, but our goal is to remove and build an online business where I'm not doing landscaping anymore. Although I thoroughly enjoy it, it's a ton of fun. I'm getting older, and eventually I just don't want to landscape for the rest of my life. Plus, I have a wife that likes me to be around.
You don't like to be around?
Yeah, that's not true. I like to be around. No, I'm kidding. No, I like to be here, and I missed a lot of the younger years with a lot of the kids, and I'm looking forward to not doing that again. So.
Yeah, the relationship that you have with our younger kids is like way different than the relationship that you had with our older kids when they were younger.
Yes. So,
So it's been so worth it, and God has just been amazing in making sure that like us deciding to hold this commitment to Him and to trust Him. Sometimes it gets really, really scary.
The scary don't even cover it.
But he is our provider, and
I'll give you an example. This is me kind of getting vulnerable.
You're scaring me.
It's about the quote that I'm working on right now.
Okay.
So, I was praying for a specific project that I wanted to bid on and do. It involved like just really rustic boulders, flagstone, and plants and lighting, and just doing something like that. And it was like a week later, I got a call with a project that included almost exactly what I asked for, and I was just like, oh. I mean, we haven't got it yet, and we're still in the bidding phase of it. But that's just one example.
It's happened. It's happened a number of times.
Yeah, and being a smaller company, we don't have to go out and scrape and grind and make sure that there's
work lined up
for
a huge
20,
crew.
30 guys all the time. And I have some friends in the industry that have that, and I just go, golly, if I ever wanted to like just stop and go on the vacation that somebody asked about, I wouldn't be able to do that because I've been grinding so hard to get the work for the guys. But if we were to ever get the chance from Tanya McNamara,
Yep.
Asked if we ever do get a chance to take a family vacation.
If we ever do.
If we ever do, yes and no.
The last vacation we took was in 2019.
2019, a real vacation. We went to San Diego. There was a training that we went to, and we ended up going to the beach a couple days. We toured around San Diego, and then we went over to Disneyland. And that whole trip was about 3 weeks, and then we went to see my parents. And then we went to visit Christy's parents
when they were there.
Yep. So that was the last vacation we went on. We've not taken one since. We came back and had a couple losses.
It's been quite the few years.
Yeah. So it was loss after loss. Move. Pregnancy. Loss. So right now we're kind of in a holding stage. But if we were to go on a vacation again, where would we like to go? Right now we are cooking up a Disney World trip. I think that's the one place that if we got to go on vacation again, that's where we go.
That's like a big vacation. I would love to take a trip up into the mountains for a week. And that's what we were talking about doing this fall, and then I got pregnant,
Yeah.
and
We said no.
we decided not to travel right now.
Yeah. So anything up in the mountains is fun. You know, going to Costco sometimes. So
We honestly, I'm
I'm not.
just happy with where we live.
Yeah, like we're like
And our life. I'm happy with our life.
We do. We were asking the kids where they wanted to go on vacation and what they would describe what it was like, and they were like somewhere close to trails, mountain view, stuff to do in the yard, the ability to go hiking easily, and all that. And I'm like, we have all of that here.
Right here.
And our bed, like our bedroom, is really well catered
Situated.
to what we want, and I'm just like, I have no desire to really leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, someone asks here that Buckley again says, when were you / are you building 1 year supply with Azure? Did you only buy products when they were on sale?
No.
Yeah.
So, what I will actually, this leads very well into this last question.
Yep.
So, Jesse Elzaz, I don't know if that's right. I might have been a typo.
I think it's Eldez because I think it's here. Jesse Eldez says she's the one that asked for the bread.
Yes,
video.
I totally typoed your last name. Said, how do we structure our buying cycle? And so the buying cycle that we are going off of, what I did was I looked at our bulk food inventory that we use and share and teach inside of our food management program. And that I went through and I said, okay, I want to look at everything on this list that we want to build a year supply of.
Yep.
And I took it and I divided it out into categories across each of the 12 months. And then I said, okay, now what about the things that makes a little bit more sense to buy once every 6 months? I took that and divided it between 6 months and then doubled it. Like, so the first 6 months and then the second 6 months.
Mhm.
And then did the same thing for the things that we want to buy for a quarter, and just took that and repeated it the 4 times. And with that, the original plan was to share that list in its entirety. But the one thing that I have not done yet is gone through it and thoroughly made sure that it financially makes sense and it is equally distributed financially. Because there's some seasonality reasoning behind it. There's a lot of reasoning behind all of it, but I need to go through and I need to plug the numbers in and make sure that I don't have us spending like 10 grand one month and then $1,000 every other month.
Yeah.
Because that's just silly.
Yeah.
And so when I have a chance to confirm, that is when I will share the master list of how that buying cycle, like what is on that buying cycle. For now, we're just kind of going month to month, and I'm looking over it before we finalize it and share it in those what to buy for the month videos.
We also started with just stocking up on one
One
thing,
thing.
and then moved on to the next, and then moved on to the next.
And one of my favorite, like one of the most fun ways to stock up on things is to pick the least expensive things. Say, I'm going to get a year worth of this. And you're done. And then you have a year worth of that item. And then
you're like, oh,
now I can do the next item.
yeah. But we've also made our food supply the #1
Budget item.
financial investment for us currently. You know, somebody asked about, you know, how do we do it? And we don't drive big expensive cars. Well, we do have a big car. It's not expensive.
Big.
You know, we don't go on those big lavish vacations and such. So we live a fairly simple lifestyle, but we do prioritize food because we believe that our food also provides us for a lot of the physical capabilities that we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maple Hill just asks, have you ever had any poor experiences with Azure produce, spoiled, mold, etc.? Yes, plenty. We've just contacted Azure, sent them documentation of it. They've been very.
You don't even need to send them documentation of it.
Oh well.
Yeah.
um,
I always take it. I don't ever send it to them. I take it so that I have it,
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah. But we also want to do. We want to be graceful with that as well.
Mhm.
Like if there's one or two items inside of a box that's spoiled, then we just kind of say that comes with the territory. But we had a box of peppers.
No, the peppers, but the pickles or
Then
the cucumbers.
the cucumbers. We had a couple of boxes of cucumbers that just were not good. So, but you also have to take. I mean, it's a fallen world, if you want to call it. But people make mistakes. Things happen, and it's okay.
Well, and a lot of it isn't necessarily their fault because they get like, for example, the potatoes. We just got 2 50-pound bags of potatoes, and we've gone through. We haven't gone through
the last few bags.
Yeah. But of those, there was like 5 pounds that were pretty gross.
Yeah.
And they were kind of intermingled, but it's like Azure's not sitting there and hand packing the potatoes.
Everything, yeah.
And well, unless I don't think that those are from Azure. I don't know. They might grow them. But anyway, but there's also like they could have looked fine when they went in the bag and things happen. And so there's certain things like that where it's just like
Yeah.
it's totally okay. And I'm 100% happy with their customer service and how they handle everything. And so I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
So and you just you have to prepare for sometimes you don't get what you ordered. Sometimes it doesn't come. Sometimes it comes and it's bad. And you just kind of have to be willing to go with that and be okay with it possibly throwing you off a little bit. Like we ordered another 120 pounds of apples this past month and none of them showed up. And that was a bummer,
Yeah.
but I just look at it and I'm like, all right, God's telling us that
We're not
we
doing apples.
don't need more applesauce, and I'm going to just be okay with that because
I don't know.
he knows better than me.
We need
Or
more.
maybe we need them next month. I don't know. Maybe we'll still be able to get them.
So we have. Let's round in on home base here.
Yes.
So if there's anybody that's still with us, thank you. This has been a little bit longer than we originally anticipated. If you have any last minute questions that you can come up with, drop them in the comments. We'll try to get that before we close out here. We do have something we want to talk about for
It's a sneak peek.
the giveaway.
It is a November giveaway sneak peek, which is funny because all of this talk about grinding your own, like that's probably like the most questions.
This thing, it says Cooking with Ancient Grains by Laura McBride.
So this book is from Azure.
This has got some.
It's got a lot of
pages.
It's got a lot of information about like your einkorn and your kamut and your
Triticale, maybe?
whatever it's called.
Triticale?
But along with the book, this was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
I really wanted to send a variety of whole grains, but I recognize that not everyone has a grain mill. And so we have a variety of ancient grain samples.
Yep.
I think that includes like spelt flour,
Some rye.
einkorn flour,
Come on.
Don't tell them
Wait, no.
everything.
kamut flour. No,
What are you
I don't
doing?
think I don't think they had kamut. I think the kamut was out of stock.
Millet. I
Mhm.
think you have millet.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a variety. I think I've got like 5 or 6 different 1-pound packs of flour that are going to go with that. And by the point in time where we actually do the giveaway, I'm sure that there will be some other things added in there. And of course, the November recipe pack
Yes.
will be in there.
All right, the moment y'all been waiting for. We're gonna change the camera angle just a smidge so you can be a part of this.
This?
Yeah, bring that over here. It's Harbor's bread. So Maple Hill says a lot of people seem to think this is only an Azure problem, but if you place an order online with the grocery store, they're also out of stock with items you want. Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. Well, I guess the only difference is that if you place an order at the grocery store, you know, and you realize, like, you know about it that day. It's not you wait a week.
This is actually a really good idea. Shervin says, Azure, I've been trying to ask them to add a backup choice for their items,
Yes.
like most online pickup orders have. Example, if they would be out of red potatoes, I could pick back up with gold. Great idea.
Yeah. I love that idea.
And then Jessica says, thanks for the live. My family and I love you. Thank you so much for the support.
Yay.
Check this out. So I'm going to change this. I'm sorry, this is going to be awkward. All right, there's the bread. Oh, yeah.
What is this?
That's a bread knife.
That's not a bread knife.
This
The
is
bread
the bre-
knife does not work.
Yeah, the bread knife is in sad shape.
There's, I think there's gonna be more whole air pockets in this one.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, the smell! If only!
Yes.
It feels so good.
But here, wait, you haven't seen this. This is the garlic bread spread
Yeah, look at that. There's more air bubbles in this
that
Yep. So that's what the inside
is
looks like.
amazing.
And this is hard white sourdough.
one. Hard white wheat with
Can you cut that in half?
sourdough starter.
Yes. I want to cut myself on
So I'm gonna
live
take
TV.
this, and we're gonna go like this, and thoroughly.
Come back up. Come back up. Come back up. Oh. Ta-da. Sherbin says, if anyone else likes this idea, please ask Azure to add backup. Maybe if we all ask, they'll be more inclined to add it. We'll see.
Harbor.
That's mouthful of goodness.
Oh man.
No,
Do it that
I want the butt.
I will contact Azure and request that because I agree. And that's like the reason why I didn't necessarily want 120 pounds of apples, but I thought that maybe if I ordered enough different types, that we would get some. And
The bread's not that good, Sherbin. That's not good at all.
oh,
It's better. The crust is really good. I like that. Whenever I see big loaves of bread like this, I think of like old movies, not old movies, but movies that have been taking place in like the Lord of the Rings, or like you see these like big, huge tables with just really awesome looking food, like huge legs of meat, red meat off the bone. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty awesome.
so this has taken a while. Getting a whole grain only sourdough loaf, I think, has probably been the hardest feat. So this recipe and this video are coming. The recipes in the November recipe pack.
No.
The video we still haven't done yet.
We will.
This is like we're working on consistency to make sure that this is actually going to work.
Yeah.
But if I don't know for sure when the November recipe pack is going to be ready. I was hoping for next week and that we could share it on the Azure Haul video, but I'm not 100%. It might be the week after. So if you are not on our email list, I will go in and add that in the description in a little bit. We will email out the information as soon as it's available so that you don't have to look around on videos for it to show up.
That one.
I think I'm going to have another piece.
So I'll have another one.
Yeah. Bread like that makes
This
me
is
think of Europe, Germany, France, open air markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Honestly, it makes me think of home because I've never been to Germany, Europe, or France. Somebody says, "Yay, November pack! Join me in the dirt." Awesome. I need to try that bread. Yeah, you do. Supplies will not last long. So wherever you're located, probably won't be here when you get there. And then Buckley says, for your family, as an example, what foods have you been able to save a year worth of? Maple syrup. That was one. We just kept buying it when it was on sale, and we would buy the big pack of it, the 4 gallons. Grain.
All of our grain.
Grain is a year.
Rice,
vinegar,
sugar. Well, hold on. Rice, sugar, beans, all of our different beans. Vanilla. We're getting there. Honestly, I'm working on getting all of our vanilla homemade, and we're still experimenting with that. I think the oils were almost there.
Yeah, really close. But with the increased use of lard, I'm gonna say we're gonna get close real quick.
Yeah.
Lard for cooking, like on the pan. So Buckley says, our Peaceful Acres says, I've done 100% fresh milled einkorn sourdough and 100% fresh milled emmer sourdough, no problems. Oh man, I love einkorn. It's so expensive, but einkorn's probably my favorite. That and I think the spelt. I really like that. Wasn't sure at first. And then Buckley says, what does that look like? Is it stored in 5 gallons, etc.? So we have a video that we produced of how to store legumes. We went over the entire process, how we did that. We have the how we stored it Azure haul, where we have a playlist of that, where we produced that a little bit ago. And then we also did a what size Mylar bag should you use for certain things. And we've done a pantry tour on the other side of this wall where it shows how we store things in our working pantry. That
We haven't done a
full-fledged tour of things down in the basement. But if you look back in some of our previous videos, we share how we do that. But I'll just tell you really quick, a lot of our grains are stored in a Mylar bag size that is appropriate for our working pantry. And
There was a bug. There was
and those bags are stored in a big barrel downstairs in the food supply room. We've gotten creative of where we put things. Some of it's in a closet, some of it's in the actual room. And yeah, onions, all that stuff. It's all stored in a thing. So I said I wasn't gonna have a second piece.
I wonder if they can hear the guineas squeaking. The guineas think they're getting something.
Like, oh my goodness, like
You're going way crooked. I thought I did bad on the last
that's
one.
why way crooked. It's just the way you're looking at it. Because yours is crooked.
Crooked.
All right, censored a few of you here. Check this out. All right, I have to start that cut again, but like, can you hear that? I'm not pushing very hard. I could go through it quicker, but now we're getting into the. Look at that right there. Oh, there's still steam coming out of that. I can see that. Oh, you can't see the steam probably, but it's coming out of there. So that's Christy's cut right there. Okay, just saying. Okay. All right. Since we're just sitting here making everybody drool. Sorry. Yeah, it's good. But I guess I'll ask a question. What, of those of you who are still left, what is the next thing you want to see us make? Somebody said bread, but if there's something out there that you want to see us make,
I'll add to that question.
well, oh my goodness.
Whether you're here live or come back and watch this video, I would like to know if you like the videos where we cook for an entire day, and we usually start the day before, so it's like a day and a half. Or if you would prefer
Standalone meals.
standalone, this is how we make XYZ.
It'd be X.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Because those could probably be done in 5 to 10 minutes, as opposed to an hour. So,
I'm just afraid that
oh man, that sour, like
I don't know.
that sour
I'm
doughy
curious. I'm
flavor.
curious as to what other people think about that.
That's pretty good.
Oh.
I see we have a lot of people who are just watching us eat. Because YouTube tells us how many people are watching. That's good, Harvard.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Or they're just all people who have left it, like they've left and their thing is still just running. They're not really there.
Okay.
Okay, so if you haven't, grab the October recipe pack.
You're got a glare. Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And
That's good.
if you get the recipe pack, that'll put you on our email list, or get on our email list to find out when the November recipe pack is available.
All right. So we have Nancy B. She says she's still here. Way to stick it out and be a
Yay,
trooper.
Nancy!
I really like the way you're doing them now
Okay, that's helpful.
because it's more of like a day in the life, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing you along on the ride. So, Jessica says, I like the series videos you guys are doing. The last series was awesome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting us know.
It's so hard sometimes. Like, I was editing, oh my goodness. I think there was like 26 hours of footage that I needed to go through. So it's
Well,
It's hard.
my next thing that I'll probably do as a community poll is I'm curious how much time people actually spend watching YouTube in a week, because I also don't want to. Sorry. I know that I have gotten to the point of I've found somebody that I watch on YouTube or on social media or whatever, and it gets to the point where it's just so much stuff where I'm not able to watch all of it, and it frustrates me. So I don't want to watch any of it
yeah.
because
You're not able to keep up.
I can't keep
It's
up.
hard.
And so that's where I really want to be conscious of how many hours of video we're putting out each week, if it's realistic for people to actually watch it.
Yeah. So, a couple of people said, I like seeing the planning, buying, and cooking. Awesome.
So that's actually something that I thought about was we've got the what we got, how we and I was thinking about doing a video beforehand that's more of the like how we figured out what to buy, like how doing the meal planning and the actual decision
Yeah.
process on the buying. I know that we did one video on like how to actually use the Azure website or something where we went through and did that, but that was a long time ago.
We could just do like a sit down and go over the menu
Mm-hmm.
and like have that conversation, and you could see us actually argue. Just saying. Okay, so somebody says here, do you blend your own feed for your birds? We have two birds that are like pets. We have Zazu, which we've shared before, and we also have Walter the
Pigeon.
The pigeon. Funny story. I'm in the garage doing stuff, and this bird just comes out of the middle of nowhere and walks into the garage and is like walking around in the garage. And Harper's like, "There's a pigeon," and I look down and I go, "Oh yeah, look at that." And we kind of like shoo, and he flew away and came back. Shoo, flew away, came back. He kept coming back to the house. It turned out his owner died, and he was a
Racing pigeon.
pigeon. And he just found his way to our house miraculously from like a really far distance away. Wasn't it like
It was northern Colorado.
yeah, so like an hour away.
So we now have a pet pigeon.
Yeah.
But we used to have chickens.
We used to have chickens.
Along like 7-8 years ago.
And we did mix our own feed for
We
that.
mixed and fermented the
Yep.
feed.
I remember that.
So that's funny. It says, hey, I would like a pantry tour. We did do a pantry tour. It's a couple weeks ago. Christy gets to go through and explain everything in the tour.
So we've shown the working pantry. Our biggest pain point in our kitchen right now is our spice cabinet. That's something that we're tackling in the near future. Hopefully before January, but it might be January.
Yeah.
At which point we will definitely share whatever solution we come up with, because spices and herbs are they're a pain point.
Yeah.
Storing them in bulk, keeping them, etc. And so we will be sharing more of that. And then we will also eventually do a food supply room tour, that's like we're going through that kind of shelf by shelf to get it in order, and I would like for it to be done. We did a tour of the food supply room when it was a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a whole overhaul on it. Says so Miss V Craft says, I'm definitely getting the recipe pack. Love seeing your children helping with the cooking. They're amazing.
They
I
are
watch
amazing.
I watch your channel the most right now.
Aw,
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jessica says, I would honestly watch the standalone recipe videos also. I usually save your video series for when I can sit down and watch. Awesome. Do you make your blends? I'm not sure what you mean, Cheyenne. Do you make your blends?
If
So-
it's about herbs and spices, yes, we do.
So,
But I don't
LOL, guineas? Yes, we have. Okay, so we'll do an animal report real quick. We have the 2 birds we just showcased. We have 2 guinea pigs and a hedgehog over there. And then underneath all of them, we have 2 Russian tortoises, 3 cats,
Leopard gecko.
a leopard gecko, and 2 dogs you've seen kind of mosey around, and
And a whole bunch of bugs.
7.5 children.
And crickets.
I found a cricket in my bed the other night.
Yeah.
I hate those things.
LOL, very funny. Yes, it's all funny. It's and then someone says, how can you practice this way of living for those who may be living in RVs, campers, fifth wheels? I know people who live this way since 2020 and would love to do this. Also, I like the way you do it now. I have no idea. We've talked about doing the RV living like this. We've talked about
So
how we would do that. I don't think we have.
we originally talked about doing like living in an RV and just having that be home base and having that be it. And then when we moved here, when we moved to the old house in Monument, we decided that we are not a full-time RV family.
No.
Because like just like
Just take it. Take it to the kitchen, guys.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we're
my
gonna eat the whole thing.
our herb collection
Asher, stop.
alone.
Just take it to the kitchen. Thank
Our
you.
herb collection alone, I could not handle with an RV. Our like the food supply, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Now, I guess if you're talking more about cooking from scratch as opposed to just the food, like storing up a food supply, I don't know. Maybe we'll take a vacation one of these days and we'll kind of experiment with what that looks like.
I would say the meals would probably be much more simpler. Lot of pre-made here at home kind of stuff.
I still go back to that. I would need a home, like I would need a house for a home base.
Yeah.
And to kind of like prepare and
MREs. Yes.
I'm
So-
sorry, I've got
I got nothing. on
I've
that.
got nothing.
Sharon says, love herbs. Yes. Nancy B says, wow, that's impressive. So cool. We gained a quail that is now part of our egg laying coop. Awesome.
I wish we had chickens to throw him in with.
Yeah, that'd be funny. I'm still trying to organize, find room, and organize my time. The order to cook from scratch, especially the bread. It's honestly
one
thing at a time.
At a time, because once you don't take on too much, because then it's all too hard.
Yeah.
And when you just pick one thing, say I'm gonna add one thing this next month, whether it be I'm gonna stop buying ketchup and start making that from scratch, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop buying mayo and make that from scratch.
Organize supplies. Yes, everything's got to be organized. If it's not organized,
It's miserable.
it's terrible. Yeah. Ms. V Craft also says, why don't you have commercials or ads? Well, that's a kind of a loaded question, but we decided that we wanted to serve the community without an agenda. We wanted to be able to grow our community without it being about us. And we found that when we had the option to monetize on YouTube specifically, we decided not to, because we wanted to, again, trust God with our resources and where our funding came from, so that we didn't want to produce content with the agenda and the thought of we're going to get views just to get money from that. And we wanted to make it, and honestly, I can't stand ads on websites or blogs or anything like that. Also, we wanted to be very selective on who we chose to advertise with, so we could support a company that we believe in and the values that we have. That's
Yeah,
not,
one of the things with the YouTube ads or like a lot of website ads is that you have no control. And I would hate to have our video playing and have an ad for something that we don't believe in
it doesn't align with what we
show
want.
up
Yeah.
as an ad on our videos or on our website. And so we've right now our commitment is no ads on our website, no ads on the YouTube channel, and to trust that God will provide in other ways. We have enough ideas of things, of products that we want to offer, of ways that we want to help teach you and whatnot, that we trust that God will provide in that way as opposed to through monetization with ads.
Yeah. I also sold a kidney. That helps. Totally kidding. What did you?
I lost
lost
my fidget.
Could you do some herbal blends for food? Well, in this last video, we did a garlic salt.
No, that's in the November. So in the October, okay, so in the recipe pack, there are a few sections. So there's breakfast. I wonder if I can do this.
I think we should do this.
There's breakfast, there's smoothies, there's the main course, there's extras and sides, there's desserts, and then down here there's salad or condiments and salad dressings. And then there are seasoning mixes, beverages, fermenting, and then everything for preserving. So fermenting, dehydrating, water bath canning, pressure canning, extracts, and then don't waste the scraps. And then we have some medicinal essential oil, and I've got a number of other things we want to add to this beyond the kitchen. Up here for seasoning mixes, we did an apple pie spice mix, a chili seasoning mix, a dry ranch mix, a pumpkin pie spice mix, and a taco seasoning mix. In the next one that we have coming, there's a garlic salt mix. There is a elderberry herb mix. This is what goes into the elderberry syrup. There's a few more.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm going to include the taco seasoning because we're going to use that again.
Yeah.
I will repeat recipes when it supports whatever else.
Yeah.
And so that we are doing the Italian. There's an Italian seasoning mix.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I'm missing something.
Probably.
But anyway, that's all in there. And those are one of the things that I really want to get on the recipe cards because I think it's so convenient to have those all hanging on the door of your spice cabinet.
Nancy B says, "Oh, I love that idea, Cheyenne. I think I said that. I'm not sure. I had no idea about your story and what led you to the path you're on today. Thank you for sharing. What a beautiful reminder today. What can I let God lead today? Heart, thank you. What led us to the path we're on today? A GPS? And then chili mix.
No, I think she's saying she had no idea about our story and what led us on the path.
Oh, I thought it
She's
was a
not
question.
asking. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Cool. Granny Rants, I've started making more of my own mixes. It's the best way to do it. You can control it.
You have control over what goes in there, but also it's the storing less SKUs because when you're talking about herbs and spices, there's so many to have that are just the individual ingredient.
Yeah.
When you start adding all of the other, like the mixes,
Yeah.
it gets way out of hand.
Yeah.
And so that's why
A
we've
burger
always
mix, a steak
just made
mix.
them.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. We went over the time we told the kids that.
Yeah. All right.
Much
Well,
over.
For those of you who stuck around, thank you.
Yes.
For those of you who are just joining, thank you. For those of you who watch this, thank you. Yeah, that's all I got. So
We've got another fun month. As we mentioned earlier, we've got the mega monthly grocery haul that we're going to start with next week. And then we've got another how we stored it video. And then we've got 4 more what we eat, how we, I don't know what to call those videos. I'm going to do a poll because I don't know what to call those videos. What we eat, how we used it, cooking with us.
I do have one question.
You've asked more than one question.
I have another question. Do you like music in the videos or not? Because
You've had complaints.
I've had a few complaints about the music.
And no one has ever said, I love the music.
Yes, because we both love music, and sometimes it makes the video exciting. I don't know, because I'm looking at this like nobody wants to watch this. Got to spice it up a little bit. So yeah, let me know. And yeah, so and then just real quick, love how we used it videos. How we use it videos.
Okay.
Shane says, love your video. And it says, I like how we used it. A lot of people do what we used in a day. Cool. Look forward to this month's videos. That's all I got.
Cool.
Rock and roll. I need a pee.
Me too.
All right. Well, we'll see you in the next live, but otherwise, we'll see you next week.
We'll do another live at the end of the month as well. That'll be after.
Have fun prepping for Thanksgiving and all that stuff.
Oh!
This video is never gonna end.
I totally forgot. Okay.
Not peeing.
Really quick. For Thanksgiving, we are not doing a traditional Thanksgiving. We are going to be doing a week-long Thanksgiving. We started doing this last year. It was done halfway, but it went marvelously because we didn't have to cook like crazy
all day
slaves
for 3 or 4
for
days. Yeah.
3 days before Thanksgiving. And what we're going to do, I'm going to commit to one thing. Number 1, I'm going to commit that we are going to share a picture on the community page of each meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, my goal is to put together a recipe pack of just
For
the Thanksgiving recipes and have that available. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm really hoping to do it. I'm really hoping to do it just for us because it'll make that week of Thanksgiving meals so much easier. And I've already got the list. I just have to put it together. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I would love to have done a video of the whole thing, but there's no way. I can't do it.
That's crazy.
Maybe next year
Or year before.
after, like maybe next year, not this year.
Sure, Vin says bye, and then she comes back laughing. I like small spurts of music, but not throughout. Okay. What is your website? We have.
The website is afamilyfoodsupply.com.
Shocking.
And it's not complete.
Yeah.
So
hold on. And then love how we used it videos. Cool.
Okay.
All right. This time we're saying bye for real.
yes.
See ya. I don't know how to stop it. Right there.